Crumbs.
How are we doing, Laura?
Don't seem to be able to get my, can you, oh, you can see my screen now, right?
Yes, we can.
Oh, perfect. Okay. There we go. Can we move that? Okay, are we ready to go?
We are ready to go, Laura. Thank you so much.
No problem. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, about the little glitch. Every now and then technology pulls a fast one on me. Anyway, thank you very much for spending your time on a Saturday to commit to your business, particularly those of you who are in the Netherlands, like Australia, etc. A very big commitment there. I'm only going to take about 30 minutes today to cover a really, really, really important topic. As a matter of fact, it is, in my opinion, it is the most important skill that you need when you're building a business. And I'm going to talk about the art of the invite. And when I say the invite, what I mean is really it's about learning to invite someone to look at the business. Now, you could be inviting someone to a live presentation. You could be inviting them to a webinar. There are all sorts of things that you could be inviting them to, but how you invite them, what you say, and how you set it up is critical. And if you knew nothing else, if you were terrible in everything else, you couldn't explain the product, that's not so bad, because that's not necessarily duplicatable. But if you only learn to become an expert in inviting, you could be very, very wealthy with a business like this. And I'm going to go through some of the key points here to help people understand the psychology behind this particular skill. So what we're doing when we invite someone to look at the business, we're sorting people out instead of selling to skeptical people. And remember, it's inviting is all I'm talking about today. We're not going to convince them because they're either going to want it or they won't. And we're looking for people who are open to what we have to offer. And so the key here is you want to say less to more people when you're inviting. And I've got a sample script that I'll go through in a minute. And the key here also is that you want to be the messenger, not the message. In other words, you're not the issue. The issue is the message that they need to have a look at this business opportunity. And you want to use the tools. Don't make again, I keep saying this time and time and time again, don't make yourself the issue. You're just the messenger to facilitate people to get to the tools so that they can make an informed decision about whether or not they see a business opportunity. The other critical thing that people often don't pay attention to is you really need to be in charge of the process of this invitation and the follow-up and things, because not your prospect, because you know what information they need to make an informed decision. They don't. So you need to lead them through the process so that they can make, as I say, this informed decision. Now, when you make this, when you start making these contacts, attitude is absolutely everything. Just go through a few points, things that you don't want to do. Number one, don't apologize when you invite someone. Oh, for example, it's kind of like, oh, now, you know, I hope you're not busy. I don't mean to bother you, but oh, if you don't mind. The other thing is, and some people ask for someone else's opinion. I don't. I'm not, because in other words, when I ask someone to have a look at the business, I don't say, I'd like your opinion and get back to me, because then it sounds like I'm not sure. And nobody wants to be part of someone else's test. Their opinion is certainly valid in terms of whether or not they like the business, but make sure that you don't position it so that they think they're telling you whether or not you should be involved in the business. And what you want to do is you want to create a sense of urgency and a fear of loss. I kind of like to talk about, you want to put someone in a frame of mind where they're going, oh, please pick me, please pick me. This sounds so good. Oh, please, sir, pick me. And there's a way that you can do that. And before you can do that, you just need to get in touch with why you're involved in this business and the timing of it and everything, because you got a big deal here with AEGEA Energetics that we're selling. And, it's new to the market, and not everyone, thank goodness, not everyone knows about it, and not everyone will say yes. But in terms of your magnitude of the understanding of the opportunity, you've got to have that nailed down before you start talking to people. And I want you to think of, my mother grew up in Chattanooga, where families lived for several generations on an income from stock that someone in their family bought in the early days of Coca-Cola, when everybody's going, no, who wants that fizzy dark thing that that's actually was for a headache cure, etc. But there were enough people who had a vision who got involved in Coca-Cola. And a lot of times I say to people, I can't give someone Coca-Cola right now, the timing is gone for that. But oh boy, do I have something now that they can really cash in on if they knuckle down and go to work. Another thing, another sort of attitude that I like to try and get into people's minds, and maybe this will help you understand the business that you're in, the attitude, so that when you talk to people. So what I suggest to people sometimes is if you, for example, if you read in the newspaper an ad that said, international company seeks motivated individuals to profit from expansion, must have a burning desire for success and a willingness to work, flexible hours, on target earnings, it's in pounds. Anyway, you'll get the drift. $100,000 plus residual income for on target earnings. And if you're a self-starter, you have good communication skills and are teachable, then this may be for you, because this sounds like a job, but actually this is really the crux of the opportunity that we have here. As a matter of fact, this is a copy of, I built my first network marketing bit, well, all of them in Europe, in England. And when I got involved in network marketing, I didn't know anybody. So this was before you couldn't, they stopped you putting ads in the newspaper, etc. But this was the very ad that I put in the newspaper. And, I would have people call and they say, is this a job? I say, I would obviously explain this to them, but this is exactly what you've got here that you're offering someone. This is a big deal. So keep that, your attitude is everything, and you want to make sure that you understand the importance of what you're presenting and that you hold it high and you keep it sacred. Because if you're not convinced, if you're testing this, don't pick up that phone, don't go talk to anyone, go back to your sponsor and figure out, what your problem is here. And I'm talking about phone guidelines because I'm going to suggest there are lots of ways, and I'll talk to you in a minute, but I'm going to suggest that the easiest way to invite someone is by the phone. Doesn't matter what you're doing, but one of the things that I want you to remember is that if someone looks at the business and they love the product, that doesn't mean they're going to get in, because part of their evaluation process is can I do it? Do I want to do it? Do I have the time? And do I have to be an expert? And so the key here is, because, we've all had people who go, oh, God, this is wonderful. You're going to do so well. I love the product. Best of luck to you. And you go, what? What's going on? And so because how you talk to someone they're looking at you and going, well, can I do that? Do I want to do what she's doing? Do I really have the time? And so you monitor your time, you monitor what you say, and in terms of, do I have to be an expert? Well, if you're a doctor, you certainly have that extra credibility. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a healthcare professional. So I want to be very, very careful that I don't blind someone with science when I invite them to look at the business, because the subliminal message there to this prospect is, uh-oh, I have to know all of this stuff before I can talk to inviting people to the business. And no, you don't. Remember, you're the messenger. You're, so everything you say and do in this information process, in this invitation process, will affect the answers to these questions. So in terms of the invite, well, you could do it in person. We're going to talk about the phone today. You could do it by email, and you could do it by social media. Those are really sort of other skills. And I know a lot of people do inviting by social media. I have as well, and I've got some people in the business who, you know, we just WhatsApp and Facebook, etc. But today I really want to talk about using the phone. Now, the principles of what we're going to say on the phone technically are the same that you would say to someone in person, but you got to be careful about being pulled down the rabbit hole when you're talking to someone in person, because they're going to want to, if they like what you're saying, want to know more, want to know more, want to know more. So what you're going to do with your phone is you're going to use it for scheduling an appointment to look at the business, to agree to look at the information, and you're going to let them know that information is on the way, and you're not going to use the phone in this initial contact for making presentations. You know, I can't. Occasionally I'll talk to someone and they go, well, I don't know what the problem was. I thought they were interested, and I told them everything, and I had someone who was just not having any success at pulling people into, to look at the business. And what I found was that they were spending a couple of hours on the phone with people, and it just was taking too long. They were saying too much. They made themselves the issue. And that's not, just in this business. This is kind of typical. So the art of the invite is really critical. Let's look then. So your goal. Let's talk about some strategies here. And if you can just remember these bullet points or these concepts, these truisms, then when I go through the script, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So the goal here is to create the curiosity. You never try to explain the opportunity or the product over the phone. Remember, it's not duplicatable. You can blind them by science. Remember that evaluation. Ooh, do I want to have to learn all of this before I get involved in the business? Because prospects will make a decision based on what you said. And if you say too much, then 99% of the time, they're not going to look at the opportunity. I mean, there's no reason for them to, because you've told them everything. And you've made it about you. So the other thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you're professional and you're friendly and you're enthusiastic, and you need to get your energy up before you pick up that phone. Now, I personally don't like picking up a phone, but hey, it's the business. You got to do it. It's that 10-ton phone, and frankly, I have better success when I contact someone on the phone instead of Facebook, etc. So pump your energy up, get your attitude right, and be friendly and enthusiastic. And you always want to start your conversation with a courteous question like, do you have a minute? And I'll explain more about that when I do the script. So the deal here is that you're going to, okay, yes, you're going to say, hi, Bob, this is Laura. How are the kids? What happened at school the other day? No. You're not going to do that. You're gonna pretty much start off with, Bob, this is Laura. Do you have a minute? Again, I'll give you the script in a second. And if they say no, they're busy, they're going to the soccer game, they're eating dinner, whatever, then what you do is you arrange a time to call back when they do have time to talk to you comfortably. And here's the key: for at least 2 or 3 minutes. Because remember, the key word here is we're inviting, we're not presenting. We're inviting them to look at some kind of webinar, a presentation, a meeting, etc. So the key here is keep your call to 3 minutes. And one of the things that you want to say when you set this up is you say, I can't take long. Or I like to say, Bob, this is Laura. Listen, I'm on my way out the door. I don't have time to talk right now, but I need to ask you a quick question. And that's a good setup, because the message there is this is not going to be a long conversation. Never, never, never beg anyone to see the business. You lose your strength there. And avoid saying please. Again, come from a position of strength. And remember, you will come from a position of strength if you remember exactly what it is that you have to offer these people. I mean, I wish personally, I wish that I had seen an opportunity like this anytime over my 30-year career. We probably wouldn't be having this conversation. I'd be sitting on a beach somewhere. So, I've been taking care of my mom and dad for 6 years. And when I saw this opportunity, I was so compelled. I came out of retirement. And when I called my first 2 people, these are people I knew very, 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 very well. I said, listen, I can't talk long. I'm going to send you some information. I got to tell you, I've been retired for 6 years, and I've seen something that I am compelled to come out of retirement to do. I think we can do something with this. I'm going to send you some information. I didn't say, oh, please may I. I said, I'm going to send you some information. I'm in charge of the call there. Never apologize during an invitation. And what you want to do is you want to get a commitment from this individual to view the information, and then you get off the phone. That's it, because that's about all you can do in 2 to 3 minutes. And you want to conclude, but the critical thing here is that you want to conclude by, after this phone call, you want to make sure that you get a specific commitment for a date and time that you're going to follow up to answer their questions. And this one point right here is why probably 50% of the people fail in our industry when it comes to recruiting, because they don't follow up. Now that's a whole nother training, but the point is, you're asking them to look at something and you're going to get them to commit to follow up. Because I will tell you this, almost never does anyone call you back and say, ooh, yeah, I like that, I want in. I happen to have called Susie back. That was just unusual. But almost never do they call you back and say, oh, I'm in. Yeah, let's talk more about these questions. You've got to follow up. You know what? Even if they like what they see, life gets in the way. And, the longer you wait to make that follow up, all sorts of things can happen. So you're going to get a specific commitment, and I'll show you how to do that in the script as well. Now, if after you've gone through this information, or if after in the follow-up they're not interested, that's okay. But what you want to do is you always want to ask for referrals. Now, I'm talking today really about inviting someone to look at the business opportunity, not necessarily about the product. You can, when you look at your list of prospects, you're going to either lead with the product or you're either going to lead with the business. And you never do one without the other. But today, really, I'm talking about you building a team of people like yourselves who are looking for more than just, the retailing profit. So, if your prospect is not interested, always ask for referrals. If they're not interested in the business, you can always say, but what about the product? You don't ever want to miss that opportunity. And if you're making these, if you're contacting people and you get 3 no's in a row, you need to call your sponsor and tweak what's happening, because something's not quite right there. And that's normal, and so don't worry about that. But that's what your sponsor's for. So remember, you're presenting a wonderful, unique opportunity, and a no is the other person's loss. And that, that's really the way nobody likes a no. Nobody likes being rejected. But you kind of need to have the attitude, well, next, too bad you didn't see it, mate. So don't worry about it. Not everyone is going to get a yes all the time. You never appear disappointed. You want to, when you finally get this no, and determine if it's a no for now or a no forever. And again, this is really more of a follow-up training. You still want to be courteous, because timing may change. So remember, I keep saying this, the single purpose of the invite is to set up an appointment for your prospect to review the business. And it could be, like I said, it could be inviting someone to an opportunity meeting like you guys do in Philadelphia. It could be inviting them to a webinar. It could be inviting them to look at the, I've had quite a lot of success with the 3-minute video. As a matter of fact, that's what got me in the business, and that's all it took. So you're just inviting someone to review the business, and you will determine the tool that you're going to use to show them the business. And never, ever, 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 ever try to explain the business on the phone. Now, sometimes, let me go back to here. No, let me just say this. Sometimes you can create such a fear of loss in your initial invitation that say, oh God, this sounds exciting, tell me more. And you want to make sure that you resist that temptation, because then you're making yourself the issue. And what you say to that, if someone in the invitation, if they say, that sounds interesting, can you tell me a little bit more? What you say is, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to tell you all about it. But remember, I said I was running out the door right now, so I don't have time to go into it. So what I'm going to do is to send you this information, and then we're going to get back together in about 48 hours, and then we'll discuss your questions. So this is just a sample kind of a script that you use. And I might say, hi Bob, this is Laura. Do you have a minute? Because I really can't talk long. I'm on my way out the door right now. But I wanted to let you know that by accident, I think I've stumbled across one of the greatest scientific breakthroughs in the last 50 years. It may be as big as penicillin, or even the discovery is DNA. And I know that's a real strong statement, but I know you'll be interested in the product. But there's also a business opportunity here that may be of interest to you. So do you have a few minutes to watch a video that will give you more information? And if you go, well, when now? No, here's what we're going to do. Okay, great. Just take a few minutes to view this information, and let me just confirm your email, because I'm going to send you a link to this information, or I'm going to send you the details, or whatever. And so if he says yeah, I'd say okay. So let me confirm your email. Now let's see. Now Bob, today. Now this is critical here. So okay, I'd say now Bob. Let's see. Got your email down. It's bob@bobbob.com, kind of a thing. And then I'd say, now Bob, today's Monday. Now if we agree to speak again on Wednesday, does that give you enough time to view the video and make note of any questions that you might have? So whatever day it is, you want to set your follow-up call for 48 to 72 hours. Now preferably, if you can, if you've got someone on a webinar and they're on that webinar, you don't want to wait 48 hours. You want to, if someone's watching a webinar, I like to get on the phone to them right after the webinar, or no later than the next morning. But certainly, and I think really follow-up is stretching it on 72 hours, because again, even if they love what they see and they like it so much, they go out and start talking to other people and you haven't followed up with them, they may get shut down when they're talking to other people because they're excited, but they don't know how to answer the questions, and all of a sudden they go, oh no, I can't, I can't do this. Okay, so again, so you want to agree on the day, and then so today's Monday. If we agree to speak again on Wednesday, and I say, okay, Wednesday it is. Now, Bob, morning or afternoon better for you? Okay, he says morning, 9 or 10. See, what you don't want to do is you need to be in charge of the process. So it's not okay when. You give them the choices. So Monday, if we agree to speak on Wednesday, if he says Wednesday's not right, then you say, don't say when, say, well, how about Thursday? Or how about tomorrow? So you pin them down in the day, and then you agree morning or afternoon, and then you agree on the time. Again, the point here is that you need to be in charge of the follow-up process, and this is what sets it up. So you're asking them the questions, and you're giving them the choice, like I said, morning or afternoon, and so on. And then the critical factor here is you want to not just email the link to the webinar or email the video, you want to email a confirmation of what you've just agreed on them or agreed with them. And so I would say something like, let's see, let me go back in here and let me come back down to that. So when I email confirmation, I'd say, now, Bob, thanks for your time and your courtesy today. Attached is the link I promised. And as per our agreement or our discussion or whatever, and say, I'll follow up with you on, and you write down there the specific agreed date and time. And please make a list of any questions that you have. And sometimes I'll say, if you feel free to call me before if you want to. And every now and then someone does, best regards. But that's it. And now you have confirmed the appointment. Now, supposing you did a bang-up job on your presentation, you got them very excited, and they said, but tell me more. And this is where you say, well, I want to tell you all about it, but remember I said I'm running out the door, so let me get you some information quickly, and then then I'll tell you all about it when we speak again. Again, because you want the tools to do the job, not you, because that's not duplicatable if you have to do everything. Now, some other introductions that you might use in your script, that first line just kind of varies a little bit, and I might say, I might say something like, Bob, this is Laura. Listen, have you got a minute? I need to, I'm running out the door, but I needed to ask you a really quick question. I'm working with an international company that has developed a technology that, gosh, I really think it's going to be as important in health and wellness as the discovery of penicillin or DNA. Now, Bob, the reason I thought of you was because I happen to know they're looking for a few key individuals to participate in that expansion. And these people need to have, man management skills and, ethics and a good, good work ethic, etc. And I said, and that's what made me think of you when they were asking about a few key people. And so now you're appealing, really to the ego. And another approach in your call is, if you know someone that's someone really well, and maybe they want to send their kids to school, to a fancy school, or maybe they want a car, or maybe they just lost their job, or something. But I might say, Bob, this is Laura. Listen, if you got a second, I'm running out the door, but I'm going to ask you a quick question. You remember when you told me you wanted to send Susan to a fancy college, but you were a little bit worried about the high cost, the heavy tuition. Bob, were you serious, or were you just kidding around? Now, what are they going to say? No, I lied to you. But you're appealing to the want. You said, well, yeah, I was serious. Well, I said, well, Bob, listen, I can't talk to you right now about it, but I think I might have a way that if we work together on a project, I might have a way where you could just get Susan to that big fancy college that you want to go to. Now, those aren't necessarily the words that I would use, but I don't typically read a script because I don't want people to think it's scripted, but after doing this for 30 years, I got the drill down. And so you're either, so you want to look at what someone's hot button is. It's like, oh, pick me. Oh, yes. Might want to appeal to the ego, etc. And again, I've mentioned the email to confirm. And then the key is, here's the big deal. You sent out that email, you better follow up. Because if you don't follow up, you have wasted their time and your time, and you could possibly lose a very, very good distributor. I know I said before 72 hours. I really think that I'm going to say 24 to 48 is really the best time, because again, if they really love what they see and they go into work the next day and say, hey, man, you know what? I had a look at this video the other day, and I really think it's quite interesting. And somebody said, well, what was it? Well, it's this quantum science. What do you, all kinds of things can trip them up, and they'll go, oh no, I really can't do that. So that's really all I have to say today. It's, again, just remember, you got to be in charge of the process. Now, one thing I will say is, what if you meet someone at a party, and you find out, you think they might be, you think, well, I'd like to talk to them about the business. What do you do about an invite there? Well, when you're talking to someone at a party and you hear a want, or maybe they've been in the industry before, or they've got a health issue, or they're looking for something else to do, there's your want. There's your hot button. And so, what you want to do at a party is you say, I really can't talk to you about it right now. I mean, this is a social occasion, but why don't we exchange business cards? let me give you a call because I think I got something that you might be interested in. You said you were looking to send your daughter to college. I've come across something that's pretty special. Oh, tell me more. No, you know what? Come on, this is a party. Let's talk another time, because when you're standing face to face with someone, you don't want to get pulled into answering all of these questions. So I'm done. Anybody have any questions?
If anyone has any questions, you're more than welcome to unmute yourselves. It's totally up to y'all.
Part is selling it, or is this an MLS?
I'm sorry, please say again.
Or if you don't want to ask a question now, like I said, you can unmute yourself so you can ask Laura any questions that you have, or and it's right there. You just unmute yourself. Or if you want to email us, and I can forward those questions, and you can email customercare@agea.com.
Yes. Yes, it's actually, thank you, Kara. I'm glad you said that, because it would be inappropriate for me to get anyone else's email. So get back to Kara, and this presentation will be posted as well. So thank you very much for your time and your courtesy today, and have a lovely Saturday. Cheers then. Bye.
Brilliant, Laura.
Thanks, Laura.
Thank you.
Good presentation.
Thank
Very
you.
good.
Thank you.